How to Write in Middle School. The 7th grade informational essay. The Common Core expects middle school students to be proficient using an informational writing structure. This is sometimes called expository writing. This kind of writing examines a topic and conveys ideas, concepts, and information about that topic. The Common Core also states that students should demonstrate increasing sophistication in all aspects of language use, from vocabulary and syntax to the development and organization of ideas. This video will use an informational prompt to model a series of paragraphs on one topic. The paragraphs are arranged to demonstrate an increasing sophistication of thinking strategies. The early paragraphs present information. The later paragraphs analyze the information. This is higher order thinking as identified by the Common Core. Today's prompt. Students often learn how to budget their time in order to complete important tasks and still have time for themselves. Think about what works for you when you plan your day. Explain how learning to budget your time is an important skill for students. Use specific details and examples in your response. What are the words that signal the topic of the essay? Learning to budget time is an important skill for students. Brainstorm ideas associated with how learning to budget time is an important skill for students. For older writers, assign one of the thinking strategies from our list. Then create posters showing ideas organized by thinking strategy. Thinking strategies are not discrete systems. Much like math problem-solving strategies, they overlap and are used simultaneously. During discussions, students should strive to articulate their idea with different words and give specific examples. Older writers should try to identify the thinking strategy used in their idea. Think about the thinking. Psychologists call this metacognition. The Common Core targets 3 areas of assessment as particularly important: the selection, organization, and analysis of relevant content. Selection is the first area. Since not all ideas can be included in an essay, the student must choose the ideas that they want to use to write their essay. Does the student select ideas that address the prompt? Are they the most relevant ideas? Is there sufficient understanding to explain the ideas with different words and provide examples? It is common to limit the number of big ideas to 3. Less than 3 is not enough to be satisfying to the reader. More than 3 becomes too much information for the reader to easily retain. Add an introduction and a conclusion, and it becomes the 5-paragraph essay. Here's one possible set of choices. Each big idea will be developed into a paragraph. Older writers could be assigned a thinking strategy for each paragraph, which they have to fill from the brainstorming work. Write your choices on the big idea lines for each section. Write fragments and phrases from the explanations and examples you'll use to develop the big ideas. You'll turn them into sentences later. Try to place the paragraphs using the simpler thinking strategies before the higher order thinking strategies. You need to present information before analyzing it. Last time you were given a prompt for an essay. The topic of the essay is found in the question. Key words in the prompt indicated that you would use an informational writing structure to organize your thinking. You brainstormed and discussed ideas with your classmates. You focused on the thinking strategies you would use to develop the ideas in your essay. you completed a graphic organizer. Today, you'll write your essay. Begin by reviewing your graphic organizer. Can you fully explain the big ideas you've chosen, with explanations and real-life examples? Have you decided on the order of your ideas? Are the higher-order thinking strategies in the later paragraphs? The second way the Common Core assesses the student's writing is in the organization of the ideas. Students must arrange their ideas in a logical sequence using an introduction, sequencing words, and a conclusion. The first paragraph of the essay is the introduction. In 6th grade, you were introduced to a hit paragraph. This paragraph did 3 things. It hooked the reader's attention, it lays out the issue, and it specifically tells the point of the essay, or the thesis. There is an additional expectation by the Common Core for the 7th grade students. The Common Core wants 7th graders to include the big ideas they're going to write about in the essay in the introduction. The younger writer will introduce the big ideas in one sentence after the topic is introduced. The older writer will try to weave the big ideas into the introduction of the topic. Here are 5 common writing techniques to hook the reader's attention. Use a quote, ask a question, make a strong announcement, ask a riddle, or tell a very short story. The next few sentences lay out the issue. They should include words from the prompt and the 3 big ideas that you wrote on your graphic organizer. The last sentence of the paragraph is where you state the specific point of the essay. It's often called the thesis statement. Again, this is taken from the prompt. Look at your graphic organizer. This is the thinking you want to put into your writing. Copy and paste all of it right into the draft after your introduction. Now you have the overall structure of your piece. The introduction is finished, and the first big idea needs to be developed. This developing of the big idea is another way the Common Core will assess the writing. Strive to fully articulate the explanation and example. Use a mixture of thinking strategies. The Core wants students to use sequencing words to create cohesion and clarify the relationships among the big ideas. Informational writing often uses headings to accomplish this goal. For this prose-style writing, we'll use sequencing words in the opening sentence. The next few sentences provide an explanation of the big idea using different words. In this case, a definition is given for budgeting time, and this is followed with an example of the big idea. The next paragraph begins the process of higher-order thinking. It uses a cause and effect analysis on the information presented with the first big idea. Again, use sequencing words in the first sentence to show how your ideas are organized. Then the next few sentences provide an explanation of the big idea using different words. Include a specific example. We continue to use higher-order thinking in our last paragraph. It's an analysis of the issue on a larger scale or in a new light. The student knows enough about the issue to appraise her earlier belief of being busy and concludes she isn't. This shows a close examination of the topic. This is the higher-order thinking prized by the Core. Use the information from your last big idea section to complete the next paragraph. This will follow the same structure as the other two big ideas. The organizational requirements of the core insist the essay has a conclusion. This takes the form of a summary and so what paragraph. The most common method to signal the end of an essay is to restate the thesis statement. This achieves two of the paragraph's goals. Another common method is to echo the opening sentences. This essay began with doodling on the assignment book. Mentioning it again signals the essay is finishing. This now needs a sentence restating the thesis. The next sentence briefly reminds the reader of your three big ideas. Don't explain them again. The last sentences prompt the reader to continue to think about your essay. Here are 4 common techniques. Mention something bigger associated with the topic of your essay. Give a call to action. Ask a question. Give suggestions. You spent your first day creating and gathering the big ideas for your essay. You identified the thinking strategy of each big idea and organized them in an informational or expository structure. The early big ideas presented information, and the later big ideas had higher-order thinking strategies that analyzed the information. The next day was spent assembling the elements into organized sentences and paragraphs. You wrote a hit paragraph as an introduction and a summary and so what paragraph as a conclusion. This last day is for revisions. Revise means to look at again. You'll reread your essay 5 times, each time through a new lens. First read through. Is your essay focused on your topic? Do your big ideas connect to your thesis? Second read through. Do you have enough content? Do you have opening and closing paragraphs? Do you have 3 big idea paragraphs supported with explanations, details, and examples? Third read through. Is your essay organized so that it's easily understood? Do you use signaling words to connect your ideas? Are your big idea paragraphs arranged to best present the higher order thinking strategies? Fourth read through. What is your writing style? Do your sentences begin the same way? Do you write with long and short sentences? Do you use dialogue? Do you set the right tone? Do you prompt the reader to continue to think about your essay after they put it down? Fifth read through. Do you use standard writing conventions? Check for run-on sentences, fragments, verb agreements, spelling, punctuation. Some people read the essay backwards 1 sentence at a time to check for conventions. Good job!